My dad sat me down at the kitchen table like he was about to deliver some life-changing wisdom. Instead, he hit me with, "From now on, 70% of your paycheck goes to your brother's mortgage and 20% goes to me. That's fair, right?" I swear, I thought he was joking. I actually laughed. Like, full-on laughed, waiting for him to say, "Gotcha." But he just sat there, dead serious, sipping his black coffee like he had just solved world hunger. For context, I'm 24, fresh out of college, and I just landed my first full-time marketing job. It's not Wall Street money, but it's mine. My plan? Save up, move out of my parents' house, and finally get a place where no one tells me what to do with my own life. But here's the family dynamic. My brother, Jason, is 29, still lives at home. Well, technically in his house, which Dad helped him buy 2 years ago. It's this big 3-bedroom place with a yard he never mows. Jason works. Sometimes. He's between jobs a lot, but somehow always has the latest iPhone and a closet full of sneakers worth more than my car. Dad's always said, "Jason's the man of the family. His success benefits us all," which apparently now means my paycheck benefits him directly. Even growing up, it was obvious. If Jason wanted something, Dad made it happen. Baseball gear, gaming consoles, even a used car when he turned 16. I'll hand it to him. Me? I got the classic, "If you want it, work for it" speech. I thought it was about building character. Turns out it was about building my bank account so they could drain it later. When Dad dropped that 70-20 bomb, I said, "So, I get 10% for myself? To, live?" He actually had the nerve to say, "You live here for free. That's already a gift." That's when it hit me. This wasn't a request. This was a decision they'd already made behind my back. And judging by the smug look Jason gave me later that night, he knew all about it. That night, I was in my room scrolling through TikTok when my phone buzzed. It was a text from Jason. "Hey, just letting you know I'll send you the mortgage account details tomorrow. Make sure to set up an auto transfer. Saves us both time." Saves us both time. I almost threw my phone. I replied, "I didn't agree to anything." He sent back a laughing emoji. Dad already explained. Don't make it complicated. You're helping family. Helping family, sure. This is the same family that watched me work 2 part-time jobs in college to cover my own tuition while Jason was living rent-free in Dad's guest house, finding himself. The next morning, Mom tried the soft approach over breakfast. "Sweetie, you know your brother's been through a lot." I cut her off. "Yeah, through a lot of sneakers and Uber Eats orders." She sighed like I was being dramatic. "It's just money. You'll make more. But if your brother loses the house, it'll crush your father." And there it was, the emotional guilt trip. They weren't worried about Jason. They were worried about Dad's pride. He had bragged to everyone at church about buying his son a home. If Jason defaulted, Dad's reputation would take the hit. I started connecting dots. Dad's sudden financial wisdom talk. Jason's smug text. Mom playing peacemaker. This wasn't some spontaneous family meeting. This had been brewing for weeks, maybe months. Later that day, I overheard Dad on the phone in his office. He said, "Don't worry, Jason. She'll come around." "She always does. I'll handle her." That one sentence? Yeah, that flipped the switch for me. This wasn't about family support. This was about control. They thought I was still the quiet kid who would nod and go along with whatever they decided. I walked back to my room, sat on my bed, and stared at my first paycheck on the desk. It wasn't much, but it was mine. And I decided right then, they were not getting a cent. The next evening, Dad called me into the living room. Jason was sprawled on the couch watching ESPN like a king waiting for his servant to bring snacks. Dad muted the TV and gestured for me to sit. "So," he started, "I spoke with your brother today. He said you were being difficult." I crossed my arms. "I'm not being difficult, I'm saying no." Dad leaned forward, elbows on his knees. This is not optional, kiddo. We're talking about family obligations here. Family obligations? Or me funding your bad decisions? I shot back. His jaw tightened. Watch your tone. You think living under my roof means you can just take your money and run? We've supported you your whole life. Now it's your turn. I laughed. A short, bitter laugh. Supported me? You mean letting me pay my own tuition while Jason got a free house? That kind of support? Jason finally looked away from the TV. Don't make this about me, sis. This is bigger than you. Bigger than me? You mean you keeping your mortgage paid so you can keep buying Jordans and PlayStation games? I snapped. Dad slammed his hand on the coffee table. Enough. You will transfer 70% to your brother and 20% to me. That leaves you with plenty for gas and food. You don't need anything else right now. Gas and food. Like I was some teenager getting an allowance. I stood up. Number, I'm not doing it. End of story. His eyes narrowed. You think you're grown? Fine. But as long as you're in this house, you follow my rules. And my rule is, your paycheck benefits this family. That word again, benefits. Translation, keeps Jason comfortable and Dad's ego intact. Then maybe I shouldn't be in this house, I said quietly. For a second, there was dead silence. Then Dad smirked, like he thought I was bluffing. You wouldn't last a month on your own. I didn't answer, but in my head, the clock had already started ticking. The next few days were like living in a pressure cooker. Mom cornered me in the hallway. Sweetheart, can we just not make this harder than it needs to be? She was holding my favorite banana bread like it was some kind of peace offering. Your dad's stressed, Jason's stressed. I just want us to be a family. I shook my head. A family doesn't extort its own members. Her smile dropped. Extort? That's a horrible thing to say. Before I could answer, my phone buzzed. Another text from Jason. Yo, I went ahead and ordered that 85-inch Samsung for the living room. Payments start next month, but don't worry. Your part of the mortgage will cover it. I swear my vision went red. He hadn't just assumed I'd pay his bills. He was already making new ones. I typed back, return it. He sent back a selfie grinning in front of the giant box. Too late. It wasn't just him. By the weekend, I started getting calls from relatives I barely spoke to. Aunt Linda left a voicemail saying, You know, family's supposed to help each other. If your brother loses that house, it'll break your parents' hearts. Uncle Dave texted me, Stop being selfish, kid. We all pitch in sometimes. I realized then, Dad had rallied the troops. He'd told everyone his version, that I was being ungrateful after everything they'd done for me. Sunday dinner was the tipping point. I sat down at the table and saw Jason scrolling on his phone, laughing. He turned the screen toward me. It was a Facebook post. Proud to have a sister who's got my back. Family first. The comments were all family members praising him, some even tagging me with clapping emojis. I looked at Dad. Are you serious you're letting him post this crap? Dad just shrugged. He's proud of his sister. What's wrong with that? What's wrong? Everything. This was more than pressure. This was a setup. They were trying to paint me into a corner publicly, so saying no would make me the villain. That's when I decided I wasn't just going to say no. I was going to disappear from their little financial ecosystem entirely. I didn't tell them my plan. I just started moving pieces quietly. First step, I went to a different bank on my lunch break and opened a new checking account. When HR at work asked about my direct deposit, I gave them the new info without a word to anyone. That way, my next paycheck would skip the old account entirely. Second step, I updated my resume. I wasn't planning on leaving my job so soon, but if I wanted a clean break, I needed distance. I applied to a few positions in other cities. Nothing crazy, just somewhere far enough that Dad couldn't swing by and guilt trip me. Third step, I started packing. Not big boxes, just one or two things at a time, sliding them into my car trunk so it didn't look suspicious. By the end of the month, I had a job offer 2 states away. Smaller company, but still good pay. The kind of place where my paycheck was mine and mine alone. The night before I left, Dad cornered me in the kitchen. "Your paycheck hits tomorrow. Make sure you set up that transfer." I smiled. "Already taken care of." He grinned like he'd won. Jason walked in and high-fived him. I went upstairs without another word. The next morning, I was on the road by 6 a.m. My phone started blowing up around 8. First Jason, then Dad, then Mom. The messages went from, "Hey, did you send it?" to "Where is the money?" to "Call me right now." By noon, I got a final text from Dad. "If you walk away from this family, don't bother coming back." I didn't reply. I just kept driving, the moving truck following behind me. When I finally got to my new apartment, I sat on the floor surrounded by boxes and checked my new account. My paycheck was sitting there, untouched, exactly where it belonged. For the first time in weeks, I breathed. 2 weeks after I settled into my new place, I got a text from an unknown number. It was a picture of a bright red notice taped to a front door. Jason's front door. The big bold letters read, "Final notice, payment overdue." Right after, another text popped up. "Hope you're happy. We might have to sell the house now." No name, but I knew it was him. I didn't reply, but I won't lie. I stared at that photo for a good 5 minutes, sipping my coffee, feeling a mix of relief and petty satisfaction. A day later, Aunt Linda left me a voicemail, her voice dripping with drama. "Your father is devastated. Jason's talking to a realtor. He says you abandoned him in his time of need." Time of need? More like time of spending other people's money. I muted my phone and went for a walk through my new neighborhood. Kids were riding bikes. A golden retriever barked at me from a porch, and for the first time, I felt like my life was actually mine. No guilt trips, no manipulation, no one treating me like an ATM. That night, I scrolled through Facebook and saw Jason had updated his status. Some people will turn their back on family when things get tough, but karma will get them. There were a few comments from relatives agreeing, and a couple of cryptic ones like, "Maybe you should have managed your money better." Guess not everyone was buying his victim act. I closed the app and laughed to myself. Karma, huh? Maybe this was karma, just not the kind he expected. So here I am, 2 months into my new life. I have my own apartment, my own bank account, and 0 regrets. But I know some people will say family should always come first, no matter what. So I'll ask you, was I wrong to leave them with their mess? Or was walking away the only way to save myself?